Do you think Big Meech, like, told on somebody to get out, snitched, did anything extra?
No. Let me tell you why. Big Meech paperwork is public records. There is no proof that Big Meech said, hey, bust him, bust him, bust him. Big Meech, bro, I ain't gonna lie. That man got to that compound, and man, he had some of the guys I would never think that would get BMF, ENT on the left side of their neck, man.
In here with a 27-year sentence based on Demetrius Flannery, as you all know as Big Meech, and Tammy Cowens, known in the paperwork as CS1.
Right.
Confidential source 1. So what Big Meech did was called a third-party cooperation.
And Cohen is a government informant. So they tell me, he says, you know what this is about? And I said, no. He said, well, you threatened a government informant, and that's a federal.
Y'all, the drama just got way too real. Hold up, because we got a major bombshell exploding right now. Federal Terrence Gangster Williams, the man who was locked up right next to Big Meech, just came out swinging. And baby, he is not holding his tongue. He's blowing the lid off everything, stepping straight into the mess, and he's here to clear Meech's name once and for all. Forget everything you heard, because Gangster is dragging 50 Cent's whole narrative through the mud. Gangster's calling out 50's wild snitching claims, and he's coming with receipts, y'all. He ain't just hinting either, he's saying it loud. Big Meech wasn't no snitch. In fact, Meech was living like straight-up royalty behind bars. This ain't no fairy tale, this is straight from the trenches. Gangster is spilling all the tea about how Meech had the whole prison wrapped around his finger, running it like a kingpin while other inmates looked up to him like he was a straight-up godfather. Forget about survival mode. Meech was out there thriving in prison, making moves, commanding respect, and keeping it solid. No snitching, no folding, no funny business. And now, the streets are buzzing because this twist got everybody side-eyeing 50 Cent for trying to drag Meech's name through the dirt. And the question on everybody's lips? Was Meech really working with the feds like 50's been shouting from the rooftops? Or is 50 just in his feelings cause Meech linked up with Rick Ross and left him standing in the cold? Baby, grab your snacks, because we about to break all of this down and the tea is piping hot.
You know, it's selective politics and it's selective who they gonna call a rat and who they're not gonna call a rat in this industry. So we've been saying this since I've been home.
Every inmate in there, straight up bowing to Big Meech, showing nothing but respect. And now, everyone's giving 50 Cent the major side eye, wondering if his whole Meech is a rat story is nothing but bitterness. Cause Meech linked up with Rick Ross and left 50 out in the cold. So what's really real here? Let's dive into exactly what Gangster exposed about Meech's time locked up. An old interview resurfaced, and it's explosive. New Orleans street legend Terrence Gangster Williams broke it all down. How Meech moved in prison like a straight boss, not by force, but pure respect. Everywhere he walked, dudes followed like he was royalty.
Big Meech, bro, I ain't gonna lie. That man got to that compound, and man, he had some of the guys I would never think that would get BMF, ENT on the left side of their neck, man. It was tattooed, and he made it clear. He said, listen, I'm not giving nobody no connect. I'm not hooking nobody up with nothing. I'm not doing nothing when y'all go home. So, in other words, you know, people try to get with him just for, you know, the games, you know, for me to let it be known, look, I ain't got nothing, nobody. I'm in jail doing my bid, that's what it is, you know what I'm saying? So
Gangster said there wasn't no flexing needed. Meech had influence dripping off him and the respect was real. But wait, it gets crazier.
Man, bro, I literally remember 25 guys after lunch will go to that rec yard with Big Meech. They're gonna take over the weight power, they're gonna work out, they're gonna hit the weights, do their little workout. And then after that, Big Meech whoever got the wine, he gonna bottle the wine up, whoever cooking food, he gonna bottle the food up. He gonna sit in the cell or hang out and just talk war stories, just talk about on the streets, man. He was a very good, humble dude. Very humble.
Big Meech had a real shot at escaping prison and getting back to that millionaire lifestyle. But guess what? He stayed solid. He didn't fold, didn't run. He chose to do his time like a real one. And we're about to get into that wild escape plan in a second. But first, let's clear up these snitching rumors for good.
Do you think Big Meech, like, told on somebody to get out, snitched, did anything extra?
No. Let me tell you why. Big Meech paperwork is public records. There is no proof that Big Meech said, hey, Bust him. Now, the situation with the lady Tammy, the female that he cool with or whatever, mess with whatever, I was having an argument with somebody about this last night. Now, if we go by prison rules and standards, Big Meech didn't sit down with the agents and say, hey, my bro gonna go ahead and settle a boy up for me, so make sure y'all give me the credit. So we couldn't make a move on him because his name not in the paperwork for saying author.
Everybody knows 50's been out here loud with it, screaming that Meech turned federal informant based on what his old associate, Tammy Cowan, said. But when Gangster got pressed on it, he wasn't buying it. He flat out said he doubts Meech ever folded, period.
Everybody's shining like new money. There ain't no other crew like this in the world, and never will be another. Not black, it never will be, because they said that if like this is shining all together, being together, doing shit every day, then they gonna fall out over some money or somebody gonna rob, steal, and kill. I have yet to see that. All of us get along.
And Gangster didn't stop there. He even took shots at the industry folks too, straight up calling out people like 50 for picking and choosing who they blast as a snitch. He made it clear. A lot of this is straight up cap when the real truth hits the light. Now, to truly understand how all this mess even started, we gotta rewind, back to the rise and brutal crash of BMF. That's where all these seeds of drama were planted, leading up to Meech's 30-year sentence. And here's the wildest part. Meech had a perfect chance to run. He could have bounced overseas, laid up living good, and dodged the whole Fed situation.
I couldn't do it. If I was for self, I could have did that. I could have grabbed a bunch of millions and been on somewhere where you can't be extradited. But that wasn't what I was out for. I've already played the legal game to the fullest. So now I was trying to legitimize me and the whole family. I mean, I was 37 years old when I got picked up, so I was slowing down anyway, as far as I was getting kind of tired. But when you the face of the family, that's the one thing that I was starting to learn. Even at 37 years old, even though I'm feeling old, 'cause I've been doing it so long, like I was getting kind of tired. You know me, I'm popping pills, smoking weed, drinking, and partying, freaking, getting money, got whips going up and down the road. I'm doing everything to try to make this family successful, and everything we do look big.
But he didn't. Meech stayed 10 toes down and faced it head on like a soldier. And that move? That earned him major respect in the streets. But it also opened the door for messy drama like what 50's pushing now. So let's rewind even more. BMF, Black Mafia Family, was born in 1985, straight out of Southwest Detroit. The Flannery brothers, Demetrius Big Meech and Terry Southwest T. Flannery, weren't just dreaming. They had the golden plug, direct lines to the top Mexican coke suppliers. They moved different, quick, and smart.
Meech chartered a commercial flight for hundreds of people, and Meech paid for everybody. It was a full-on party in the sky.
I've seen the movie Soul Plane. It was like Soul Plane.
Yeah.
Meech had everything set up. Everything was set up for us to party.
They used a family-owned car service to wash everything clean, looking legit on the outside. By the early 2000s, BMF had the streets, the clubs, the whole vibe on lock. Loud, flashy, and unstoppable. Behind the scenes, they were moving serious weight coast to coast with 500 members strong.
For every place we stay at, LA, Atlanta, Detroit, we have homes, our own homes. We don't have to go in and rent. We got our own house, we got our own cars, we got our own hoes, we got our own clothes. You know what I'm saying? And we can't be stopped. I don't see nobody stop. I don't see none to come after us either. None. Nobody will never do this again. There's this many niggas and this much money, can't get a.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Meech and T fought wars, crushed rivals, and took hits too. T caught a bullet in the eye in the late 80s. Meech, he got shot twice. Once in the neck at a Chinese spot back in the day, and again in 2004 outside a wild Atlanta club scene after a beef with Diddy's ex-bodyguard, Anthony Wolf Jones. Wolf and another man, they didn't survive that night. Meech walked away with minor injuries. But outside the bloodshed, BMF was living that dream life.
leaning on the counter laughing because we're drunk as hell. He's like, man, Yogi, my ass is burning. I'm like, what? He's like, man, I think I got shot in the ass. And sure enough, he got shot in the
We're talking about 13 multi-million-dollar cribs, parades of foreign cars, closets flooded with designer drip. Meech was iced out with custom pieces from Jacob the jeweler, flexing so hard he left everybody starstruck.
There when it was changed,
Exactly.
and they caught it. Okay, okay, we're gonna catch, we're gonna do this party, we're gonna have the tigers and the lions, and you know what I'm saying, elephants and stuff. All you know, like we never seen that type of stuff. Like you can say what you want to say, you know what I'm saying, about, but that type of stuff you only seen in movies, and you didn't even see that in movies.
Yeah.
Like for real, not no black people really doing it like that. You know what I mean? So from here to Miami, Cancun, renting out the whole jet. You know, it's stuff that people still ain't doing to this day.
Exactly.
Meech always said BMF was built on loyalty, family, and unity. But when they got to the top, those family ties started snapping. Meech and T were beefing heavy. It wasn't just words. It got so bad they were having full-on screaming matches in public. Meech even accused T of stealing from BMF. Yeah, it was that deep. Eventually, they split the empire. T took LA, Meech held it down in Atlanta. But that division, it ripped BMF apart from the inside out.
U.S. Marshals say this man, one of Atlanta Police Department's top 10 most wanted, and a member of an organized crime family, is now behind bars. U.S. Marshals tell me they arrested 37-year-old Ernest Dennis and 40-year-old Jonathan Manigo here outside of Buckhead Hotel. Both men, they say, are members of the so-called Black Mafia family, or BMF.
Anyone tied to BMF typically has an extensive criminal history, so we consider them to be very violent.
Investigators say the organization BMF is heavily involved in drug trafficking and has been in Atlanta at least since 2004. At that time, federal agents seized this limo with secret compartments that had almost $1 million hidden in.
By 2000, Meech had his eyes on a new hustle, the music industry. He launched BMF Entertainment and jumped headfirst into the hip-hop world. The money, the fame, Meech fit right in. Everybody wanted to be close to him. Diddy, Jay-Z, T.I., even 50 Cent. Meech flexed so hard it still got folks talking today. From pulling up 100 deep to clubs, shutting down VIP sections, to parking Maybachs next to Jay-Z's just to flex harder. Meech was different. One of the wildest stories? His jungle-themed birthday bash at Magic City, with 2 live white tigers chilling in the club. Who else was doing it like Meech? Nobody. But even while BMF was flexing harder than ever, the cracks were growing deeper. T wasn't vibing with Meech's wild, flashy lifestyle and started venting to family and friends. Problem was, the feds were already tapped in, recording every word, every complaint. Meanwhile, Meech kept flexing, dropping millions at parties, thinking he was untouchable. But low-key, some people partying with him weren't just industry insiders. They were undercover law enforcement, plotting to take him down. After a 15-year investigation, the feds built an airtight case, 900 pages of wiretaps, snitch statements, bank records, surveillance. In 2005, they moved in. Big Meech and Southwest T were both arrested, along with 150 BMF members, officially shutting down the empire. Meech had a shot to run when T got bagged, but he stayed. First laying low in Miami, then sliding to Frisco where the feds finally caught him. And when they came crashing down, they dragged everyone, even their family members, into the mess. Their dad, their sister, girlfriends, all tied to homes and businesses used to launder BMF's money. The feds tried to break them, but Meech and T stood tall, took full responsibility to protect their people. They got hit with that continuing criminal enterprise charge, the same one used on kingpins. Both Meech and T pleaded guilty. Both were sentenced to 30 years. T caught a break with early release during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Meech? They denied him compassionate release even with real health issues. Finally, after nearly 2 decades, Big Meech walked out in 2024, but it wasn't sweet freedom. He's still under strict supervision. And BMF? It didn't die. Their name became legendary in the streets, music, fashion, and pop culture. Rick Ross dropped BMF, Blowin' Money Fast, putting Meech's name on blast in 2010. Then 50 Cent and Stars turned Meech's life into a hit TV show, starring Lil Meech himself. Everything was looking up, until Meech linked up with Rick Ross after getting out. That viral photo? It sparked 50 Cent's fury. 50 went off, accusing Meech of snitching, threatening to pull the plug on the BMF series. Meech kept it cool but stood on one thing: he never snitched, even though 50 says he's got paperwork. It doesn't directly call Meech an informant. People like Gangster Williams are standing tall, backing Meech, saying it's all cap. Now 50's son is chiming in, pushing the narrative harder. But if that paperwork was out for years, why did 50 build a whole TV show around Meech before, and now suddenly flip when he linked with Rick Ross? Is 50 just being petty, or is there more to it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe if you're riding with the real. Catch y'all on the next one.